Today, I am joined by my very special guest, Dominique Dawes. She is a three-time Olympiad, part of the gold medal Magnificent Seven gymnastics team. She's a motivational speaker. She was a Broadway star and recently became part owner of the women's soccer team, the Washington Spirit, and has opened her own business, the Dominique Dawes Gymnastics Academy and Ninja. Welcome, Dominique, to the new mid.
Well, thank you for having me on, Michelle. I appreciate it.
And it looks like you're in your new business.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
actually
fantastic.
I'm standing in my preschool gym. We have a separate designated room specifically for preschoolers. It's 9 months till about 6 years old because there's still 6-year-olds that are just getting into kindergarten. So this is our designated preschool gymnastics space. Then I have a dedicated ninja space, and then there's a dedicated recreational gymnastics space.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. Well, I cannot wait to start to talk to you about all of that. But before I jump into that, I have to ask. I mean, I was cheering for you, watching you crush it on the balance beam, watching you do your forward and backwards tumbles. And then, oh my gosh, in 1996 with the Magnificent Seven winning the gold medal. What was that experience like?
It was like no other experience in this world. The fact that it's been 25 years, but I can close my eyes and I can relive it as if it were yesterday. It was a blessing and an honor to be on a team with such talented young girls that I had competed against my whole career, and having that opportunity to compete in my second Olympic Games on American turf was a highlight. And to end our careers at the 1996 Olympics on top of the podium, making history was a dream come true. And when I saw those girls a few years ago, all we did was talk about our spouses and our children. And the last thing we care to talk about really is gymnastics. There's many other more important things in life.
That's true, but for a fan
Yeah,
like me, I can't help it. I
so I
mean,
can
that
help
was
it.
I mean, I know we moved on. I know it was 25 years ago, but to me, I it was just such a fun time. And you were a standout gymnast at a very young age. What do you think made you who you were as a gymnast? What made you stand out?
Well, I was quite unique, as you mentioned earlier, my up and back tumbling pass. I was known to be like an energizer bunny, where I would tumble from one end of the floor to the other end, and I would bounce back and continue to tumble. And people were very much in awe. And I had a phenomenal time really taking advantage of performing to the crowd. That was something that always was going on in my mindset, was that I wanted people that were sitting in the stands to get their money's worth. They were going to spend a good amount of money to watch me compete. I wanted them to be entertained. I had fun doing it. It was a great deal of a commitment and a sacrifice. And my first Olympic team was when I was 15 years old. So really, I was on the scene for quite a few years, and I spent nearly 18 years of my childhood in the sport of gymnastics.
Well, that has to take a lot of determination and discipline, I imagine.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Dominique Dawes Gymnastics Academy and Ninja. How did this come about? What was your motivation for starting this business?
Well, I am 44 years old. I am married, and I am a mom of four very young kids. I have a 7-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, and 3-year-old twins, boy-girl twins. And I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be moving forward on this type of business venture, being 100% owner with my husband and being so committed to this. But really, what is driving my passion and my purpose is the pain that I went through in the sport of gymnastics. The culture of the sport of gymnastics in many gymnastics facilities is a very unhealthy culture. It's full of a great deal of physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. And in 2016, when everything came out about Larry Nassar and the hundreds of young girls, teammates of mine even, that were sexually abused by him, it truly did plant a seed in me as a mom at that time of only 2 kids, that I need to do something about it. My husband was in my ear saying that so many people look up to you. You're such a role model in the sport. You need to do more. And starting a gymnastics academy in your backyard, is what my husband was saying, is a great way for you to give back to your fans that were so committed to you during your career and even now in my post career. And so we made the financial commitment. All of our 4 kids are a part of the program, and it's truly been a blessing, and it's been great getting to know the kids here and the families, but more importantly, changing the culture of the sport. No longer do I want it to be about fear, intimidation, and silence. This is really a positive and encouraging atmosphere for all young boys and girls to get introduced to the sport of gymnastics and ninja in a very kind and loving environment. So it's not the sport that's so unhealthy, it's the people in the sport. And so I've made a conscious effort for those that have applied for a job to truly vet people, interview them, and understand what's their why. Why do they want to work here? Why do they want to work with kids? And all of the people that I have on my team right now, they're amazing. They love working with kids first and foremost, and they recognize the utmost importance of being a positive role model to these kids. It starts with us loving who we are and being happy individuals, but also recognizing how powerful our words are, how powerful our tone is, how powerful the look on our faces, and that we want to make sure that we're helping develop the whole child emotionally, physically, mentally, as well as socially. And the way we can do that is to love who we are as people and exude that. When they come in here in my preschool space, it's super fun, ninja space as well as rec space. The coaches just care about every single kid, and each kid feels that way.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that, because that is so important. When that report came out in 2016, it was horrifying,
Yeah.
just horrifying. And
It's
actually,
horrifying. It's horrifying, but for those that were in the sport, I don't think it was that much of a shock because they thought about the culture. A reporter came to me, I was in LA at the time, and said, well, why do you think this happened? How do you think it happened? And I immediately said, it's the culture. We were all feeling so uncomfortable because you deal with the physical, the verbal, and emotional abuse that Larry, who I knew my whole childhood and saw as a friend, was not sexually abused by him by any means. He saw the pain that these athletes were going through. He saw their vulnerability and he took advantage of it. And I don't want that to happen to any kid. And I'm not going to allow that to happen to my kids, which is why I truly am so passionate and recognize that this is truly my calling to start this academy here in Clarksburg and to expand throughout the DMV area.
oh my gosh, that's wonderful. We are so fortunate to have you here, just down the road in Maryland. You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, though, because just a few weeks ago, Simone Biles was being interviewed on 60 Minutes, and she said she would not have her daughter join the USA gymnastics team. And you commented in support of that. You told
Yeah.
her, "You're right on, Simone."
Yeah, I mean, Simone's a role model to young athletes such as my kids. They've met her numerous times, and she's been nothing but kind and very gracious and a wonderful ambassador. And I love the fact that she's speaking up. I did motivational speaking for a good 25 years. And when people would ask me if I had kids someday in life, would I put them in the sport of gymnastics? And I would say, absolutely not. Why? Because I knew all too well the culture of the sport and what it leads to. It leads to a great deal of insecurities. It leads to fear. It leads to anxiety. And I didn't want that for my future kids. And now today, as a mom of 44-year-old mom of 4 kids, to start my own facility, my motivation is I want something different for my kids, and I want something different for today's and tomorrow's generation of gymnasts. So Simone's spot on, but also Simone knows her academy, and she knows that she's probably doing things the right way. She just doesn't want her kids under USAG. And at this time, my academy is not under USA Gymnastics for that reason. They need to clean up and they need to clean house. And until I feel as if my kids and the kids that I have a part of my academy are safe with them and we are aligned in our philosophies, I won't be associated.
That's good. Great. That is so good. Thank you. Again, I just, so I love the culture that you're creating and how you say words are so important, because they really are. How you speak to children is so important, and the culture that you are cultivating. So it's very important to you to help and empower the next generation of gymnasts. And that's extremely encouraging. Where does that come from? Why is that so important to you that you are now dedicating your life and your money, like you're putting your money where your mouth is?
Yeah, well, my focus first and foremost is my faith, my husband, and my family. Then secondary is this gymnastics facility, because I know all too well, having achieved what I achieved in the sport of gymnastics and then leaving the sport and feeling so beat down and broken and damaged. problem, where the rest of the world looked at me and were like, you're such an amazing role model. Look at what you've done. You are a sign of strength, of resilience, of perseverance. And I spoke all the great words, but on the inside, I felt very incomplete. I always felt like I was never enough. And when you come from an environment where it is communicated to you that you're never enough, you're not perfect, and that you are not to be satisfied and you're walking on eggshells, that's problematic. My husband was a school teacher for a good 18 years, and he said he would communicate to parents, parents, wake up and don't care about what your kids think of you when they're 12 years old. Care about what your kids think of you when they're 32 years old. I say that because there's many parents that sit in waiting rooms and they see their kids broken down, beat down, crying, depressed, not wanting to do the sport of gymnastics, no longer having a love for the sport, but their identity is so wrapped up in it that they don't know what else to do with their lives. Their kids aren't happy. And if you see that, you need to find either A, a healthier environment for your kid, or B, another sport for your kid. Because when that 12-year-old grows up at 22, you're going to be left having to pick up the pieces and deal with her insecurities and maybe poor decision making and 32 and on. I am so passionate about this because I know from my own personal experience and so many of my amazing teammates who are phenomenal people that think so lowly of themselves, and much of it had to do with the culture that we were in. You're never enough and you're never going to be perfect, and perfect is what they were striving for. If you want to fail in this world, strive for perfection and compare yourself to others. And
Right.
that's really what the sport of gymnastics teaches you to do, to look at your teammate as an enemy, as a competitor, and not work with them. Look at yourself and see what you did wrong. Look at the imperfections versus looking for reasons to celebrate how amazingly hard you work to accomplish something. So my academy is focused on that. Are we working on quality gymnastics and improving? Yes, of course, but we're going to do it in a very empowering and kind and loving way. And every kid that walks through our doors, they are going to realize that they are more than enough. And we want to pull out the greatness that's in each and every one of them.
Awesome. That is just fantastic. It's interesting when you become a mom,
Mhm.
because when you become a mom, all of a sudden you look at the world with a different lens.
Yep.
And is that did that help the shift, the realization that the culture that you were in was not what you wanted for your children?
I knew when I was speaking on stage, when people would ask me and I would say, no, it's not going to be for my kids. I talked about the benefits of the fundamentals of the sport. However, I wanted to keep them as far away from the culture that I was accustomed to in the sport. It wasn't until everything broke with Larry Nassar and I saw people that I knew support him, or I saw people that I knew deny the fact that the culture was already so unhealthy, which is why it was so ripe for him to abuse girls for decades in like in the complete like daylight. And so I then realized, oh my goodness, as a mother, what you want to do as a mother is protect your children. And while I was putting my kids in mommy and me classes and other classes, I was like mama bear, like, oh, I don't want them to go through. And I thought, you know what, once everything broke, I know that I can control the environment by creating this healthy environment. And it starts with the people that I bring on board. And it's people that care about kids. They have a passion for working with kids. And first and foremost, they are also happy people. You are not going to see people that feel stuck, people that feel lost, or people that are miserable. They actually derive their energy from kids coming through the doors because they recognize this is their opportunity to give back. There's one person I have on staff, and I remember she was like, oh, this is a wonderful positive outlet for me. I love when I see kids because my work life, that's tough, that's stressful, that's draining. But when the kids come, I can help make them smile. I can help make them laugh. You don't have enough smiles and you don't have enough laughter in gymnastics gyms. And I want to be able to change the culture and not only have the smiles and laughter, but also quality gymnastics. And so to be able to combine the two would be a beautiful thing.
Which, we need a lot more smiles with this pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
especially the kids being home with virtual learning. So you opened your gym during a pandemic.
Yeah.
What was that like? And did you're known for your dedication and your determination. Did that help you with opening your gym during a
Yes, and
pandemic?
having a good team around me, truly people that were on board and believed in this philosophy and this vision. From when I opened the doors July 1st, we do have a different team in place because I realize these are maybe not necessarily the people that I want helping me lead the way to make a difference in the lives of these young children. But it has been an interesting journey. What I love most about it is I am by nature very private, very introverted, and I look forward to going into the gym and connecting with kids and connecting with families. I'm not a coach on the floor. My whole thing is about directing and molding the culture and what we want to bring to the table, not only for the kids and the families, but also for my staff. That's really what it's about. I'm not going to allow, running this facility and, being maybe part of a leader in this facility to take me away from my duties of being a wife or being a mother of 4 kids. Those always come first and foremost. But being at the gym has truly been an opportunity for me to give back. And I love it each and every time I come. Even on Sunday, I got to coach some preschool classes. And that was by far the most fun I've had running this company, on the floor, working with the kids and helping like an 18-month-old jump across our tumble track. It was just so much fun.
Oh, that is so cute. They're so fun at that age.
They are. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, former President Obama had appointed you as the co-chair on the President's Council for Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. And I watched a clip of Michelle Obama introducing you. And one of the things she mentioned is that most moms do for their children what they won't do for themselves.
Mhm.
You have four, as you mentioned, you have four beautiful kids. Is it hard for you to make time for your fitness, or have you figured out how to make it work?
For my fitness, I would say right now, but I feel as if that's an excuse. If something matters enough to you, you will make the time. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning at times, and I choose to maybe respond back via email instead of maybe doing a little bit of a workout. But if something matters enough to you, you will make the time. Right now, I think my kids keep my husband and I active enough that we feel as if we're getting cardio, keeping up with 4 kids and schlepping them to gymnastics or to ninja or running the company. But you always do need to make sure that, not that you put yourself first, but you got to make sure there's me time. And even if it just means getting 30 minutes extra of sleep, I am very sleep deprived. I've been sleep deprived now for, how old is my oldest? 7. So for over 7 years, I've been sleep deprived. So, I look forward to sleeping, let's say if and when I get to retirement, but this is really what invigorates me. I don't really sleep by nature a lot anyway, but this is what invigorates me because it's not about me. It's about the impact that my legacy can leave behind. And so what matters to me more are these smiling faces of my kids, of my husband, and of the kids coming through our facility. I'll have time to rest. My body lets me know, my mind lets me know when I need a break. Also, probably being aware of what you're putting in your body is important. Not putting too much of this in your body, which I think I'm on my 4th cup already. But just making those smart decisions is very important. And I always try to remind parents, as I've spoken for decades now, the number one answer that kids give me with regards to who their role models are in life, it's not myself, it's not Tiger Woods, it's not some other professional athlete or some YouTube star, it's mom or dad. And so we need to recognize that our kids are watching us, they're listening to us, they're absorbing every single thing we say, and they're watching our decisions that we make in life. And it's not just pertaining to how we communicate about other people or how we communicate to them, but also how we speak about ourselves. And so as mothers, we need to make sure we do show that we love ourselves, that we do believe that we're beautiful, that we do believe that we matter, because our kids are looking at how we view that image that is in the mirror and how we treat ourselves. And that is how they sometimes base their own self-esteem based off of what we think of ourselves. And so right now, my kids see me as a very empowered, person that's giving back. But again, there's times where I run into that rut and that's when you need to take a little bit of a break, and that's okay to do.
You are absolutely right. My mom has always said that values are caught, not taught. So they are watching. Even when you don't realize they're watching, they are
Yes,
watching.
they are very much watching.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I wish they weren't, but they are. In midlife, a lot of us women, either by choice or not by choice, have to reinvent ourselves. And you have done that amazingly. Like you've mentioned, you've been a motivational speaker, you are on Broadway, and now you are a small business owner. What advice would you give to us women out there reinventing ourselves, how to do that?
Well, I think it's important for us to get out of our own way and to recognize how we are speaking to ourselves. Like, really take the time to listen to what you're thinking about and what messages are you absorbing and taking in from your surrounding. I truly believe doing what I'm doing today, I'm definitely not doing it alone by any means, but I never would have imagined that I would have the strength and the confidence and the conviction to do this. Am I afraid? 24/7. I'm always facing fears and trying to be courageous, but it's about us learning to get out of our own way and recognizing, hey, I can step out of my comfort zone and gain so much value in that. But again, to be able to do that, you have to recognize, what are you thinking about in your words, even though you might not verbally communicate those words outwardly, you need to recognize your thoughts have such a powerful impact on your decisions in life and your happiness in life and the people that you surround yourself in life. And so taking the time to think about what you're thinking about is key. And don't get bogged down with all of these messages that we have from society. Society is not always leading us in the right direction. It many times can lead you astray. So you have to truly listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and make sure you're being led by the right guidance, and be aware of your surroundings, your friends, your family. It's very hard to prune people from your life that have been around you for a long time. But if you know that it's not bearing much fruit, or it's bringing you down or leaving you depressed or anxious and not putting you in a healthy place, really the way that you can soar and make decisions in life that maybe are good for you personally is to break free. And it is a very hard thing to do, especially if that environment is a very unhealthy and uncomfortable environment. Sometimes we gain comfort from that dysfunction. And if you truly want to be happy and content in life, sometimes you need to let go of something that maybe has been attached to you way too long.
Absolutely. Because when you let go of that, other doors will open,
That's right.
because you've been
Mm.
holding on to something that you possibly need to let go of.
Yep.
I'm interested, Dominique. You've accomplished so much in your life and you don't slow down. You keep going. What would you like your vision to be in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I won't say that I enjoy vegging on the couch with my kids and my husband. It's not like this invigorates me and I love seeing kids come through the door and they're smiling and they're having a great experience, but I have just as much fun doing absolutely nothing and being a mom. And last night we were on the sofa, and all the three girls came up on me, and then my son went over to my husband and stuff. And so that was just as invigorating and fun for me. And I was enjoying that moment just as much as, let's say, impacting the community. So while it looks as if I'm Superwoman, trust me, I'm not. I do take time to do very little of anything. And honestly, back in the day, one of my most fulfilling things to do was really family walks. We haven't done that lately because of the weather, but today's finally a nice day. So we're going to, definitely do it. But those are those little moments that I look forward to more than anything. And those are those little moments that each and every one of us need to appreciate more, because it doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of time or have to, plan out anything. You just get out and spend time and be present in those moments. So those are the things, believe it or not, that I do look forward to greatly in life.
Oh, that is so amazing. And it's true. It's kind of the simpler things in life can mean the most. And that's probably what your kids are going to remember, is the actual time they spent with you on the couch all piled up.
Yeah, I mean, I think my kids have been there for a lot of exciting things like interviews, and they've seen themselves on TV, but they see mommy get just as excited doing like little things, taking a road trip that we can easily do. And so I might look more busted when I take the road trip. I'm not caring about the hair and makeup, but they do recognize that those small things in life matter just as much, if not more, to me than the things that society tells you will fulfill you and lead to happiness. It always doesn't.
Oh, that is great. Well, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, well, they can go to our website, which is Dominique Dawes gymnasticsacademy.com. They can get more information on our classes. We offer classes here Monday through Sunday. And we offer from 9-month-old classes to as old as actually 99 years old in the ninja space. We have adult classes in the ninja space as well. But primarily our sweet spot is from 1 years old till about 17 years old. We have preschool gymnastics, we have recreational gymnastics, and we also have ninja. We have actually a ninja competition coming up here. It is actually up and coming and a very popular sport. And so we're hearing that it's going to be an Olympic sport soon. So we're working on building that competitive team with regards to ninja.
Well, thank you so much for being on the New Mid, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this grows.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And you've got to take the time. Come from Frederick. You're not far at all. We have a lot of families that come from the Frederick area. Come check us out. And again, keep a lookout as we hope to expand our locations, and maybe we'll come near you soon.
Wonderful.
Thank you.